Every story we tell is really a story about you. So let me ask you something honest. Have you ever watched someone else get the thing you wanted? The praise, the promotion, the love, the attention. And even while you smiled and said congratulations, something quiet and ugly burned underneath? You know the moment. Someone announces their good news, and you're the first to smile, while something in you quietly sinks. We don't like to name that feeling, but it has a name: jealousy, and it's older than almost anything. In fact, the very first thing that went wrong between two human brothers started with exactly that feeling. But here's what almost everyone misses. There was one moment, one single choice, where Cain could have stopped everything. God even warned him it was coming, and most people read right past it. Stay with me, because that same moment, it's crouching at your door, too. To understand what happened, you need to understand two brothers and one word. Cain and Abel were the first children ever born, the first siblings, Adam and Eve's sons, growing up in a world just outside the garden their parents had lost. Cain worked the ground, dirt under his nails, sweat on his back, coaxing life out of stubborn soil. Abel kept the flocks, the smell of wool, the sound of bleeding, the long, quiet nights under open sky. And then there's the word, offering. In the ancient world, an offering wasn't just a gift. It was how you showed God your heart. Not the size of it, the sincerity of it. Remember that, because it's the key to everything that's about to happen. The day came to bring an offering to God. Abel brought the best of his flock, the firstborn, the finest, the parts that cost him something. Cain brought some of his crops, not the first, not the best, just some. And God saw the difference, not in the gift, in the heart behind it. He received Abel's offering with favor. Cain's, he did not. Now put yourself in Cain's sandals. His face goes hot, his jaw tightens. He watches his little brother stand there, accepted, glowing in God's favor, and he feels that burn rise up from somewhere deep. The same burn you've felt, the one that whispers, "Why him and not me?" It's the same thing you feel scrolling at night, everyone else's life glowing on the screen, and that quiet question rising up, "Why them and not me?" And this is the exact moment, right here, where God does something surprising, something that could have saved Cain's life. He doesn't scold him, he asks him a question. God looks at Cain, angry, downcast, dangerous, and he says something that echoes across all of human history. "Why are you angry? Why is your face downcast? If you do what is right, will you not be accepted? But if you do not do what is right, sin is crouching at your door. It desires to have you, but you must rule over it." Picture that word, crouching, like a predator, low to the ground, patient, waiting at the threshold of Cain's heart for the door to open just a crack. And here is Cain's moment. God is telling him, plainly, lovingly, you can still turn back. The feeling isn't the sin. What you do with it is. You can rule over this. Cain hears the warning. He understands it. It's the text you almost send, the comment you almost post, that small moment where the feeling asks you to act on it, and you decide whether to open the door. and he opens the door anyway. The sun is high over the field. Cain says to his brother, "Let's go out to the field." His voice is calm, too calm. Abel follows, trusting the way a younger brother does. The wind moves through the grain. Birds scatter. And there, away from every watching eye, the jealousy that Cain refused to rule, rules him instead. He raises his hand against his brother. And the silence afterward is the loudest sound in the world. And Abel, the first shepherd, the first to give God his best, becomes the first human being to die. The ground that Cain worked his whole life, the soil he loved, now drinks his brother's blood. Then God asks another question, not because he doesn't know, but because he's giving Cain one more chance to come clean. "Where is your brother Abel?" And Cain, hardened now, answers with the coldest words in the whole story. "I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper?" But you can't hide from God. God says the blood cries out from the ground. And Cain, who refused to rule his heart, is now marked and sent to wander. Here's the thing that should stop us cold. Cain wasn't a monster from the start. He was a man with a feeling you have had. The difference between him and us isn't the jealousy. The difference is what we do at the door. And that brings us back to the question I promised to answer. Remember the moment I promised you? The one most people miss? It wasn't the offering. It wasn't even the field. It was the door. God's warning, sin is crouching, but you must rule over it. That was the moment. And it's the same moment God offers you. Because here's the truth. That jealousy will come. Maybe tonight at 2 a.m., scrolling through someone's highlight reel. Their new house, their perfect family, their success. And you feel that old burn rise up, the one you'd never admit out loud. That burn you feel in the dark, it's the same one Cain felt in the field. You're not evil for feeling it, you're just standing at the same door. That feeling isn't your sin. God isn't angry that you feel it. He asked Cain the same gentle question he asks you. Why are you downcast? You can still turn back. The sin is what happens when you feed it, when you open the door, when you let it lead you out to the field. But you can rule over it. You can name it, bring it honestly to God, and let it go before it costs you something you can never get back. But what does that actually look like when the burn is real and it's right now? First, name it, out loud or on paper. I'm jealous of them, and it hurts. Cain's feeling grew in silence. What we name honestly before God loses its grip. What we hide grows. Second, bless what you envy. It sounds impossible, but it works. Pray for the person by name. Send the congratulations text and mean it. Resentment can't survive genuine blessing. You cannot curse and bless the same person at once. Third, look at what's actually underneath. Jealousy is rarely about them. It's usually about a fear in you, that you're behind, that you're not enough, that you've been forgotten. Bring that to God. That's the real conversation. And fourth, don't sit alone with it. Cain went out to the field where no one could see. Tell someone you trust. Shame dies in the light and grows in the dark. And fifth, Trust His timing. So much of jealousy is really impatience. It's the fear that because it hasn't happened yet, it never will. That God forgot you or skipped over you. But look at what Cain couldn't see. His story wasn't over. Neither is yours. God is not late, and He is not comparing you to anyone. The blessing on someone else's life was never subtracted from yours. Your season is coming. Don't burn down the field waiting for it. You are not powerless here. God didn't warn Cain to shame him. He warned him because Cain could have won, and so can you. Cain's story isn't just a warning, it's an invitation. The door is still in front of you, and you get to choose what you do when you hear the knock. Because every story we tell is really a story about you. If this story spoke to something you felt, you're not alone, and I'd love to hear it. Comment below. When have you felt that burn, and what helped you rule over it? Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to read tonight. If this moved you, subscribe and give it a like. It helps these stories reach the people who need them. And if you want to carry this further, our 30-day Family Bible Devotional Journal takes stories just like Cain's and turns them into daily reflections and prompts you can actually live out. The link's in the description. Thank you for being here. We'll see you in the next story.